Hello, everybody. Good morning. In my case, happy rainy Wednesday. In Kariniko's case, happy rainy is the norm Wednesday, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe it's sunny today. In November, probably unlikely, but it can happen, right? Anything can happen. This is me, Anne, your host, and then there's Disembodied Hands Quindy and Disembodied Beard John and my sulky puppy who hasn't been a guest on the stream lately because she's decided that jumping up on my lap here is fraught. Because of this thing and the thing that might fall over down there, and so yes, Kiki, that's Kiki. Hope everybody is doing better than yesterday. Everybody was having a bad day yesterday. Even my CrossFit friends were having bad days. It was one of them is looking for a job and it's rough. It's rough, and she's in a very, I would think a market that would have a fair amount of demand, and apparently it's been not that she hasn't been applying for jobs or had jobs to apply for, but that they've just been ghosting her on Zoom interviews. Yeah, so that's the labor market in today's America. Let's move on. I can't believe it. And I'm not surprised, right? Having been unemployed in my own past, I did encounter those employers, but I'm always like, you actually cared enough to set up a meeting, and then you just are like, oops, Oh, dear. Every Wednesday is rainy. Yeah. Apparently that's like the way that a lot of these, she's in tech, but she's in my love field, which is genetics. And so she oversaw a lab, essentially, is what she used to do. And she loves that job and she loves doing it. But yeah, so since it's a tech job, I'm not surprised they do virtual interviews because that's faster, right? Instead of setting up someone actually coming into the office, you just get on your computer and do the interview. So I can get why they do it in that field, especially here in the Bay Area. I mean, come on, I'm in Silicon Valley, so if anywhere is going to be doing a lot of Zoom interviews, it's here. But yeah, I could do an interview online. Because I'm so used to talking to you guys, right? It's like, now it's like one of my natural interfaces. After doing this for how many years? Like 5 years, Quindy? I don't remember the year of my last stream. It must have been 2018, though. It must have been, because it was pre-Patreon. So, clone dinosaurs and build a theme park. I'll suggest that to her next time. She has small children, so that will totally, that'll get a laugh out of her. But yeah, I feel bad for her because she's just, I know how it gets to your mental, right? Having anybody on stream here who's been unemployed, right? It really eats you. It really has a bad effect on your mentality. So I think it was because I started the Patreon in late 2018, like December, and launched it officially in early 2019. So like my official launch anniversary is in January of the coming year. For 5 years. I should do something cool for my 5 years, right? I really should do something cool. I have to think about it. So, okay. Now I've got sticky notes now. So I may as well make a note to do something cool for a 5-year anniversary. Pentaversary? Do those have names? Does anyone know? Do something cool for 5-year Patreon anniversary. Yeah, there we go. Yes, win. Sticky notes are the win. My life. Lately, I've actually been going through my sticky notes and actually consolidating them to useful, not useful information and putting it in appropriate places so I can get rid of them. Otherwise, they build up. I need to take my notes that I took for pricing on the painting book and everything, and do that sort of thing, and separate out the great ideas you guys gave me for the Zazzle store and stuff like that. But yeah. Speaking of which, I actually wrote the introduction of the painting book yesterday. I sat down, that was on my to-do list. And so I sat down and did it, and as usual, I had an outline, but I like a lot of the stuff that comes out to be natural. That's kind of the writing. I'm learning that is my thing. That's what I do. Like, so I have write the introduction. Here are some bullet points I want to hit. And then everything else that comes out is gravy, and it just surprises me sometimes because it's just my brain talking to me at that point. It's weird. It's why journaling works for some people, because your brain comes out and talks to you and you learn things about yourself you never knew. So what I learned yesterday is that my brain informed me that we are dedicating this book to Ed. Because it was in the who am I section, you know, because you have to like say, this is the point of this book and this is what I hope you'll get from it. And then you're like, but who am I to teach you this stuff? That's the start of every nonfiction book in the world. And I've read enough of them that I know. So at the end of that, I was telling my story of how I did painting and how I worked for Reaper. And then I mentioned Ed's passing and my immediate, like, of course this book is dedicated to Ed, just popped into my head, so. Like, without Ed, oh good, Inara, thanks for that. Strength, durability, and strong roots. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we're going to be putting a lot of effort into building this coming year. So, yeah, I mean, without, I'm going to get all teary-eyed now. Because it's still like that, right? I made myself cry when I wrote it. Oh, dear. Anyway, but without Ed, like, I would not be the person I am today. Like, there's just no way. Like, the amount of like, once we understood each other, the amount of trust that he put in me to run that department and just to, like, it just was a huge growth experience for me. It was, like, super important for me gaining confidence and being able to, like, take on the world. Like, without Ed and without him trusting me and putting me in that position, I would not be the Anne I am today. No way. So, oh, miniature stand right in the middle of me bawling my eyes out. Thanks. So, miniature stand. Luca, I'm writing a book. Finally, I'm writing a miniature painting book. Not a novel. We know I've already done 2 of those. But I was just talking about how I wrote the introduction to the miniature painting book, my miniature painting book yesterday, and how I write and I don't always know what's going to come out. And so at the end of my writing, when I was telling my Reaper story, I realized I was going to dedicate the book to Ed. And then I made myself cry, and now I made myself cry again. So sorry, everybody. I didn't mean for you to get on and be confronted with a weepy Anne this morning. But yeah, so that was a thing, and I was just telling the chat here that without the trust that Ed put in me when I was creating the paint line and running that department, like, I wouldn't have the confidence, and I would not be the Anne I am today. So it totally makes sense to dedicate the book to him. So I'll stop crying now. Deep breath. Thank God we're not working on the Ed figure today, too. I won't drip on the paper of the book. I promise. It's not real yet. But I did start it yesterday. I have the introduction written, and I have a complete outline, more or less complete, that I'm actually adding things to every day. Oops. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because I would not, like I said, I honestly would not be this person. Like, I wouldn't have the confidence. I don't think I would have the confidence to start a Patreon and make it work. I wouldn't have had, running that department gave me organizational skills and, like, prioritization skills, mostly because it really was hard to make Ed prioritize anything. So I had to fight for it. But yeah, like, without those skills and without that confidence, I wouldn't be doing any of this crap. Like, it wouldn't be me. So, I owe Ed a lot. So, yeah. So, that's the way we're going to run it. That's the way, and as I write the book, maybe I'll have some Ed stories. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting painting book. I don't want it to be dry. I'm very much writing it in my voice. So, there will probably be jokes, and there will probably be Ed stories at some point in there. Just for fun. Maybe they'll be in sidebars so they don't distract too much. And of course, the coolest thing about the book is that I'm doing my new YouTube series, and the YouTube series will go with the book. So there will be videos to watch to help you understand the concepts in the book. And that's all free anyway. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Zachariah. All right, I'll stop crying now, I promise. I'll get all sniffly. Wait, I need to blow my nose. Oh, and take your allergy pill, Quindy. But yeah. There are just some people in your life that you owe a debt you can never repay. And it's like that. But I at least can make the world aware of the things that Ed did for me. So. All right. Enough. Mouse. Undead mouse. Totally not cryable. Okay. I suppose somebody could cry over an undead mouse. But we are going to be doing the metal today. So let us mix up some colors. We've got some carbon gray, which is that great charcoal gray that I base coated in. It's a nice dark neutral. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I put my voice into everything I do, Korniko. There was a point where, I forget, I think it was one of the Learn to Paint kits, where we got an editor to look at it, and the editor essentially wanted to completely wipe out my voice. They thought that having my voice in there was just not a good instructional aid. Yeah. I disagreed strongly. That was one of the times where Ed and I probably had a fight. Ed and I had lots of fights, by the way. One of them so loud they heard it in the warehouse. So Ed and I had our rocky parts over the years as well. But like there came a point where we just understood each other so well after working with each other for years that it just then we didn't fight from that point on. Yeah, and well, some writers, and I'm one of them, it's like that. It's like you can hear their voice in all of their writing, and it's part of what makes their voice, it's part of what makes their writing effective, right? And that's type of writer is who I am. I can't write something without my voice. Like, it's no fun for me, and it's no fun for anybody else to read. And I want this book to be fun to read and accessible. Like, that's my number one is accessibility. And actually having the ability to teach people, right? And making it fun. Otherwise, they're just going to be, another dry book on how to do whatever. And that's not what we want. We want the masses to learn to paint and to rise up. Yes, like that. Or something like that. Maybe at least the learn to paint part. Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, and it's not something you can control as a writer. Some writers are just like that. Like it pulls back to personality studies. And unfortunately, the downside of writing like this is that you are usually not super prolific. Like you're not that writer who can just bang out 6 books or 12 books over the course of a year. Because you put too much of yourself into every story. And that takes time. It takes time to come out. And then it takes time to resolve itself. So because of that. Paint more dragons. Yes, paint more dragons so Ron commissions more. Exactly. Yeah, rise up. That's what rising up means, right? But yeah, so that's the goal. That's my goal. I know some people's this is why having all these awesome painting books out right now, because there are some really good ones, and I gotta say that I'm not an 8K person, but those FAQ books that they're putting out with Kirill and Arnaud were fantastic books, but they weren't focused on 28mm. They were not focused on painting for role-playing games. They were not they're definitely geared toward a more advanced painter, although there are tools for beginning painters that they could embrace in there. And they're coming at it from, their different mindsets. And I'm just trying to make something that's me and that does address those needs. Because with D&D being so popular, I want something that's very Reaper. It'll be Anne, but there are going to be a lot of Reaper in there too. And I think that's just, it's impossible not to do that given my background and given the, how much I owe to Reaper for everything that the company's done for me. So yeah. So even if I do the Kickstarter independently and it's not an official Reaper product, which it probably won't be because I would like to use some figures from other companies, and I don't know if Reaper would be okay with that. Then it'll still very much be a hefty shout out to Reaper and the whole Reaper community. That's what my hope is. No, I'm going to kickstart it, Polly. I want to do it myself. I'm an indie publisher now, and I know, yeah. I might, what I'd like to do is once I have the product and once I have the, like once it's done, or once it's done plus most of the photos are done, I want to go down, find a time to go down and talk to Ron about running a Kickstarter, just like pass my business plan in front of the Reaper and say, okay, where am I screwing up? Because I've never run a Kickstarter before. So I would love to have Reaper's help in that way. I would not expect Reaper to run the Kickstarter. Because I think I could do it. Like, that's just something I think I could do. Yeah. But I want to Kickstart it, so yeah, so that's the deal. So it'll pretty much, if I decide to do it that way, I will need you guys to like tell people about it. By that point too, I should have grown my YouTube audience a bit, and so I don't need a Kickstarter that goes viral. I just need a Kickstarter that makes enough money to pay back the costs, because I'm probably, after looking into doing it myself, I think I would rather hire someone to lay out the book. Because it's going to be full color, and I'm going to want a little bit of bells and whistles just to make it look nice. I want it to look professional and nice. And for that, I probably need somebody that's pro. And I've been pricing those options, and I'll be integrating that into my costs. So yeah, but this is all, I start planning, like, this is 2 years out, but I start planning now. It's how I am. So yeah, so this is all how it's coming together in my head. And I may change my mind on some stuff, and I may not, you know. So now we've got our main colors for the model here. We've got and we're going to need our pure white because NMM, right? So we've got our carbon gray and our phantom glow and our pure white. I totally should have ordered another bottle of phantom glow. Crap. This is really my main undead color, guys. Out of all the other colors we have and all the colors I've used to paint phantomy undead or spectral undead or translucent undead, phantom glow is my favorite. Although, highlighting it with Dungeon Slime can be fun. Yeah, oh, it will be, because I'm going to be busting my ass so bad, Kerniko, out of all this stuff. Like, I got a YouTube to expand on. Like, I got so much stuff to do, and I've got to write. Plus, in addition to writing my fiction books. Like, already we've got, like, eek moments, right? So, that's all what it is. Yeah, it's not going to be, I won't say it's going to be a rough 2024, because when it comes down to it, I like to work. I mean, have you noticed? Not so recovering workaholic here. I still played Diablo with David last night, so I can't call myself a true workaholic, right? If I take the time with my loved ones to actually spend time with them, then it's not a workaholic, even if 11 out of my 12 hours of the day are, right? Well, but I also take time for my exercise and my personal improvement, my self-improvement stuff. So yeah, I don't think I'm a workaholic anymore. I used to be. Oh gosh. No, I understand you meant it in an encouraging way. Because, although, you know, and this is something to remember as you paint. Okay, so this is another motivational thing, and I should write this down right now before I forget it. Some people will find motivation in visualizing the end product. But, contrary to popular belief, not everyone does. Visualizing, I'm writing this down because I'm making notes for my Mindset of Mini Painting series. Visualizing the end product doesn't work for everyone. Very few things do work for everyone. I don't think anything really works for everyone. Because even if it did, there'd always be those curmudgeons who are like, no, it doesn't work for me. In exactly that voice. Just visualize the Muppet, the Muppets and the curmudgeons in the balcony on that one. Visualizing the end product does not work for everyone. So, I'm one of those people. Visualizing the end product actually just makes me feel overwhelmed. But some people, visualizing the end product and how awesome it's going to be when they are done is a huge motivator. So try those things on with your gut, right? Don't assume something is wrong with you if you feel that sense of terror when you're imagining the end product and you're like, oh my God, there's so much work between now and then. That tends to be me. Especially because, you know, when I paint, I tend to go all the way paint, right? I'm not doing quickie gaming models on this at all. Right. Unless it's a red dragon, right? And sometimes you just don't know, right? Sometimes you're a discovery painter, like I'm a discovery writer. You start the model and it ends up going in a direction that you couldn't have foreseen, right? Or maybe you could have foreseen, but you just didn't care to. you maybe knew that you were going to paint the dragon with green highlights on its blue scales, but you know, you didn't know it, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, so some of us, you know, you'll be one of those curmudgeons, Agent Marvel. All right, yeah. Painting curmudgeon. Do we need a t-shirt? We do need a t-shirt. Painting curmudgeon. Mini painting curmudgeon. Yeah, I need that. We need some t-shirts for older mini painters, and I'm up. And for that matter, I know a curmudgeon who's like 16, so some of them just bloom early. Okay, mini painting curmudgeon is a thing. We're gonna do it. But yeah, so sometimes, like for me, that's why I paint in pieces, because end product, ugh. But imagining how like this particular section of armor might look. Now I'm in it. Now I'm like, oh, cool. Let's just focus on this. And part of that's probably my focus superpower, where I'm happiest if I'm just focusing entirely on one manageable thing. And if you spread it out too much, I can't focus on all of that, right? I have to have this little thing that I'm focusing on. Hey, Trash. We were just talking about the fact that we need a mini painting curmudgeon t-shirt. So the Zazzle store is like getting a lot of good ideas from the stream. Now I just need to, maybe over Thanksgiving I'll work on the Zazzle store. Usually, even though I'm freelance, I try to take the holidays as actual holidays to work on whatever I feel like. And, so maybe we'll take Thanksgiving to work on the Zazzle store. All right, so I want to get a little bit of a more solid coat on here. You can see some of the material through it, so I'm going to do a quick touch-up base coat. No, I was just thinking about it yesterday, Terashirama. I have not heard anything from Monte Sansevino. I did see some people posting their entries, but I haven't seen, they have a website. So I think they do get pictures up afterwards? The problem is you get so many models, right? But if anybody finds a really good summary of the Monte Sansevino show and the winners and the entries, can you post it on my Patreon Discord? And on the Reaper Discord if you want to, if anybody else cares. But Monte Sansevino, for those who don't know, is probably at this point the most well-regarded miniatures competition show in the world. It started out as a very small show run by Francesco Fabriano. I believe Fabriano is his last name. I'm bad with names. Sorry, Francesco, if I've misnamed you. He is an awesome person, and he also is very well known in the community, and he had the personality and the skills to pull together Monty Show and make it the force that it is today, where if there is one show that many people across the world want to go and exhibit at, once they get to a certain level, it is Monty. And I am included in that. One of these years, maybe even this coming year, I would like to get out there. Although, I don't know, I've got so much crap going on for 2024. Grumpy painter. Oh, yeah. Wow, Inara, you're something. That's insane. Yeah. So instead of binging MST3K or Bob Ross, you binged mini painting. Something I've never really been able to do. Unless I was leading up to a competition and I was going, oh, holy shit, I don't have anything done. And I've stopped binging that sort of binging. All right, so I am probably going to assume a light source that is colored like the Phantom Glow, just to make things easy. Technically, the glow is coming from within the mouse, so you really wouldn't see and NMM effect. If you want to do an NMM effect, you're going to have to extrapolate. The other thing we could do, which is totally fair and awesome, is to just highlight the edge of these plates because they're so ragged and they're kind of like just wisping away. We could highlight the edge of the plates with the Phantom-y Glow material to show that it's incorporeal becoming corporeal. And we could do it that way. And that could be a good place to start because, yeah, otherwise you still have to account for all the energy coming up onto the metal from the glowy body, right? So we're going to get a lot of reflected glow anyway. I'm going to test to see how opaque my glow color is at this point. It's really opaque. But if I want to do like little tendrils, I'm going to need it that opaque. So, and it's really not super. You can just see it, but you can't see it a lot. Yeah, I thought about rust at the interior parts a bit. Trash. I thought about doing a bit of that. I'm not certain how much of it I want. Maybe just a little bit like on the shoulder pads here where the crease, where this is firmly corporeal, right? And maybe up here. I think probably there and there and there we do the rust. Because here, if I put wispy corporeal energy on the edges of each of these plates, then we wouldn't show the rust there. Yanara has, superpowers for sure. But yeah, I would like to get this Azel store actually done, and what I need to do is essentially create... I won't need to create the Blorf graphic because Trash was awesome and created it for us. So the straight up Blorf graphic stuff I'll be able to do right away. But doing the graphic for 2 Blorf is human and then 2 Paint Minis is divine, I need to take the Blorf graphic and then produce that graphic and put it on stuff. So if I want the stuff to look nice, then I need to spend time to produce a nice graphic for it is what it comes down to. All right, so we're going to get all the edges here and try to essentially make them very glowy. And I'm not, like, I have abilities with, like, graphics programs, but I am not an expert, not even close. I know how to do the stuff that I need to do with photo editing, and that's about it. I did take an online course that was how to do like digital art, and it was useful, but it was so many years ago that I've totally forgotten all of it. So in producing like pretty artistic t-shirts, I will need to spend some time learning, probably. But I like to learn. It just means that some products are going to take longer to get up on the store because I need to create prettiness. And I've thought about hiring going on Fiverr and doing a couple of like cute cartoon animal like ones as well, because I like cute cartoon animals, darn it. And there are lots of people on Fiverr who can draw cute cartoon animals easier than I can. All right, so just kind of like plotting in this. I do need to thin it a little bit more though, because it's just a little bit too opaque. It is super humid and rainy here today, so luckily my paint will not dry super fast. Yeah, I've got, actually, the one I use right now is, Pixelmator, which is a pay-for program, but does not require subscription. I just hate subscriptions. I hate them with a fiery purple passion because they eat all my money. I make just little enough money that subscriptions can really impact my bottom line if I don't pay attention to them, and I tend to fire and forget on those things. So I essentially have eliminated as many subscriptions from my life as possible, and that keeps me from doing Adobe because I just part of me just hates the idea of subscriptions. It's like, I want to pay for a program, own it, and have it, and that's it. And that's what Pixelmator did. And Pixelmator is a really nice program, and I've had no complaints with it. But yeah, so pricey is exactly what I really can't afford, but I'm willing to work with an artist and get some cute cartoon animals done. Mostly a little cartoon dragon, I think, for painting big. Because people who draw that stuff all the time can do that just so quick and easy, and I am willing to pay them for their expertise. So just bringing up the edges here, lighter and lighter as I go, and I'm kind of feeling it out as I go to see, like, and maybe I'll make some little threads of energy like I did above. Like it's creeping in like on the edge. Yeah, I think it's Pixelmator Pendrake. Moon is a good name for a cat. So we're just going to make sure that the edge is a lot brighter than anything I do working in, which is why I needed to thin the paint a little bit more, because I won't, otherwise my crack's going to be just as bright as my edge if I leave that strong of a brush stroke, and I want it to actually fade a bit. I probably will bring this up a little bit more with even thinner paint to get that real glow effect. Once we get up to the top, I'll test that rust effect and see if I like it as well. Yeah, I would imagine that a cat, like, that's left on a, software group. Oh, yeah, I bet trash, yeah. Yeah, especially, because that's what everybody wants, right? They just want people to pay you every month so they have a predictable income stream, right? And I get that. I have a Patreon, right? But it's a little bit different with me with a little Patreon versus multinational corporation, which is greedy. I shouldn't make that judgment call. But, I mean, there's nothing that says that a multinational corporation doesn't need a predictable income from month to month. Maybe they need it more than I do. But I still, like, get a little grumpy about it. I can't help it. I guess in, like, 10 years, everything will be subscription. We'll have no choice, and everybody will be forced to be grumpy and just move on. Except for the true curmudgeons who can sit here in the corner going, I remember when! You know, I'll be there. Oh, I need more water. I just need more water. I'm sorry, Phantom Glow. I must thin you down immensely. It's just what I have to do. So we're getting that all in there. I'm going to blow my nose again because with rain comes mold, and that is one of my allergens. So 1 second. Apologies. My plan to put up more than one fundamentals video this month is moving along. I have my second video shot. I need to edit it today while I'm working on my $5 PDF. So really thin, I want it, and that creates more of a glowy, wispy effect. See, so my paint is really thin now. You can see that it's got kind of a fog effect, and that's what you want if you're doing a glow effect. You want it to get that fog effect going on. So after you do your stronger brush strokes, get really thin paint and kind of put it over all of your brush strokes, which will give you that foggy look at the edges of plates, and it'll give you that more glow. It's also how you do lightning effects. I think mini painting curmudgeon will work too. But if you want a general curmudgeon shirt, I'm sure they're out there, Pendrake. But yeah, so I like Pixelmator a lot. I especially like that they're, one of the things I like, maybe Photoshop does this, and I just haven't touched a real Photoshop in ages, or Adobe anything. But in their eyedropper tool, it actually has a circle around it, and part of that circle will kind of show you the color that you're actually on. You don't have to look over here. It's right there, so you can actually move your cursor until you have exactly the color you need, and then click, and it's all right there on working off of the cursor, which I really like. Which is not how it used to be. But like I said, I haven't dealt with a actual licensed Adobe anything in a long time, so. That was a little bit strong. So you can take this fog the fog consistency paint and still paint it on a little bit strong if you've got too much on your brush. So be careful. But I did my green stuff video yesterday. I have just given up on YouTube, like, recommended video lengths. I've totally given up on them. Like, I started out wanting all these fundamentals videos to be 10 minutes, and then I realized the sheer impossibility of me doing a bunch of 10-minute videos. My sweet spot is 20 minutes to 20 to 25 minutes is my sweet spot. Because I just want to put too much information in there, and I want to actually show you, and I want to actually talk about it. And that means that it's not going to be in some cute little chunk that's easily digestible in, like, the time that you're waiting for your, like, coffee to perk or whatever. Like, it's not gonna be that way. Sorry, guys. Once I start giving information, I don't stop giving information until I'm done. So I'm just going to open my next fundamentals video with that. I'm just going to be like, I tried to make these shorter. It's not working, so just expect each of these videos to be between 15 and 25 minutes long, and you'll be fine. Yeah, because I'm more of a teacher than a YouTuber. I guess that's what it comes down to, right, Brownbeard? Thank you for the cheer. And thank you, Clavicus, for that resub. Tier 1 for 43 months. That's insane. That's really good. Thank you. But yeah, so I've just given up on short content. I'm still outlining my videos. I'm still trying to get through the material as quickly as I can. But for me, that does not equate to 5-minute or 7-minute videos. Whatever YouTube says you should do, right? YouTube's always like, oh, just do this. Don't do these longer videos. Nobody will watch them. And I don't believe in that, really. People who just want entertainment on YouTube absolutely want shorter videos. But people who go to YouTube for knowledge don't necessarily, in my opinion, want shorter videos. I mean, sure, if you're trying to figure out how to descale your espresso maker, you want a short video. One that just covers the things you absolutely need to know. But if you actually go, like if you're looking for information on how to get an agent as a writer or blah, 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 you're willing to watch an awful lot of content. So I think that miniature painting is one of those things where more content better than less content. Fudge no. Trash. I almost dropped the F-bomb there. That's how you can take that as an indication, in my opinion. TikTok's not for me. I do enjoy going over, like I did enjoy going over and found a couple of good books when I went to Book Talk and looked for cozy fantasy. But that's how I use TikTok. I am very much a seek and destroy TikTok person. It's like, oh, TikTok Book Talk actually has some good recommends. I'm going to go over there, look in cozy fantasy Book Talk, get my recommends, and then leave. That's it. It's kind of like clothes shopping. That's how I do clothes shopping also. I am like, I need some long sleeve t-shirts. Focus it on store. Go to exactly the section I need. Maybe look a little bit over here. No, back to the section I need. Buy shirts, leave. That's how I shop. So TikTok is that. 20 to 25 minutes. I find that 20 minutes, like for a very simple topic, 15. But for most miniature painting topics, if you're going to seriously talk about it, 20 minutes is your sweet spot. So I've got a little bit of lines here. If I have, just like with any other layering, if I find that my foggy technique is leaving lines that I don't like, I can come back with my carbon gray from the other direction and reduce it. So that's what I'm doing. Well, that's you, Pendrake. So I guess that my stuff is really not for you then. Or you could just watch the beginning and then stop, right? You could watch the beginning and maybe fast forward to get an idea and then not watch, right? And some people will do that. They'll start watching my video, they'll watch for 10 minutes, and then they'll stop. And that's fine. That's cool. They got the information they needed, one hopes, or they came to the conclusion that my teaching style is not for them, which is fair. It's all good. Like the Overwatch videos that I watch, which is Plat Chat Overwatch, those guys do 2-hour videos. And I just put them on while I'm walking and just listen. Technically, they are also on a podcast. I should just do it there, but I'd rather give them the YouTube bucks, so. Right, and you can do that, right? Although I talk fast, so I'm probably starting to sound like a chipmunk at 1.5, but you can totally do it. Yeah, yeah. Yep. And actually, 12 minutes is more than I thought. Like, 12 minutes is longer than I would have actually guessed. It actually seems like it's an improvement over what it was before. I would like to see evidence of attention spans getting a little longer. At least when it's info you really want, right? But then I do have focus superpowers, so I'm kind of somewhat biased on this. So that fog is coming out. We can see how this is looking. That's too bad, Pendrake. Watch out for that, because social media, today's culture, can really get you to like only kind of take things in shallowly. But I know you actually are interested enough in other media. Like, do you read, Pendrake? It seems to me, because you're very knowledgeable on your niche subjects. And it seems to me that you wouldn't be the type that I would peg for a shallow learner. Because you do like, you're really, I know that during the stream game, you were really valuable to me for ship stuff and stuff like that. Or maybe you like to just learn in tiny bites, and you just learn a lot of it. I don't know. But be careful about that, because the way that today's society works with the social media and the sound bites and the little tiny clips of information that don't give you very broad learning, they tend to predispose our brains to sheer away from deep learning, like, because it's just too much effort. We're just used to like just getting little bites, but sometimes that can bite you, right? Come back to bite you. Since a lot of valuable work that you can do is requires a little bit more focus. So it all depends on who you are and your goals, as always, right? But be aware that happens. Your brain can get very used to shallow learning, and then when you need it to deep learn, it can like kind of fight you. Back on Ghost you, yeah. I see. So impatience. That's fair. I get impatient with stuff sometimes. But then I also, I read pretty fast if I'm skimming. I can skim a topic and get most of it. Depends on the topic. Alrighty, so I'm going to get a little bit of highlights. Yeah. All your devices are connected. It's the silly AI algorithms. It's the cookies. They're out to get you. Unlike Cookie Monster, today's cookies are much more invasive. That's why incognito windows exist. I didn't actually know about incognito windows until I, married a tech guy, but he always uses incognito windows so that the cookies cannot, especially if he's looking for something that he doesn't want to be spammed with afterwards. So I love incognito windows now. I use incognito windows a lot when I'm doing my marketing for my books, because I want results that are not weighted by books that I prefer. I want to see what other people prefer. So doing a bit of a brighter rim up here. Yeah, usually if you go just up to your browser and you look at and you just click on it, where open new window, you should see an open new incognito window, or new. But they call it different things, but essentially you can just open. It's usually black colored instead of white colored to remind you that you're doing that. But yeah, it's a good way to if you're looking up stuff that you're just curious about in the moment but really have no lasting interest in, it's a good way to look up that stuff. Yeah, it's super easy though. You should just be able to click on the file or whatever it is, the drop down that you would usually use to open a new thing. But yeah, I never knew about the dang thing. Not till David. Alright, so I'm just like lightening up this area now because I want this also to show the energy. And also here I've got just way too much of a rim here, so I'm going to like get that on with the spectral glow, building that up. Hand chisels live, wow. Oh yeah, you put 30 years into something like that, you're going to be a master. That's pretty cool though, Trash. I'm actually going to make a thicker puddle of Phantom Glow here, so I have both, the best of both worlds here. Both my layering mix and my where I need a more solid mix to set it up. Ah! Alright, so 4-1 on that. Should give me a more solid Phantom Glow. I just don't want to sit here when I want a brighter color right up next to the body. I don't want to sit here with my foggy thing and sit and do this. There we go. This should be stronger. Yeah, there we go. Want to kind of block in this area and this area brighter. So it should be very bright. I can leave the demarcation line because this is supposed to be a solid plate, even though it's currently like building itself out of ether. But I want to minimize that lining, if I can. And I might even put a glaze of Phantom Glow over this line to make it more indistinct. Like I kept, there's really no lining between the bones here and the sleeve, right? Wherever I want it to appear that the plate is coming out of the ether. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm interested in just a ton of different things, so I already threw off the collectors. I finally did it. I pulled the trigger on my weight set, guys. Last night I talked to my CrossFit coach, Andrew, and Allie. Both of them are our coaches. And I asked them if I was getting the right thing, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, this was what the thing you are getting looks like. It is over here on the weight rack." And I'm like, "Oh, that's useful." And essentially got the okay. That what I was getting was a good quality product and would last me for freaking ever, which I figured, but I just wanted to hear it. And then I dropped the kettlebell off because this is such a big promotion for Rogue Fitness that apparently they count it a success if you get your stuff by Christmas that you order in November. So I'm like, all right, I actually need a kettlebell for, the week of Thanksgiving when there's no CrossFit. So I'm going to go to a fitness store locally this weekend and get myself a kettlebell instead of ordering it online. Should be easy enough to find a kettlebell. But yeah, so I blew, although I tell you, I bought about $560 worth of weights, Agent Marvel, and the shipping was $11, $11.96, because of their 5 for $5. Like if you get 5 items on the 5 for 5, you get the shipping is $5 for those 5 items. So all of the weight sets that I got were 5 for 5. And my bar. So I got a set of 10, 15, 25, the bar, and then I got a set of small plates that are just the 2.5 pound that you just use as add-ons when you're inching up your weights. Those are in bright colors, so I was happy. Yeah, I did it. It's like I had the money and I was like, Richard, there just are days I really want to come back from my run and just lift some weights. It just it actually is really good at getting frustration out. Like it's good for working out stress and frustration. So some days I come back after my walk run and I'm like, I want to lift. So I don't have enough for a rack, and I really have to measure in order to get like a squat rack, because we have a very short garage. The ceiling is pretty low, and the garage door is pretty low as well. So I can't do any rack that goes above the level of the garage door, which may mean I don't get a pull-up rack, which would be kind of sad because that's one of my goals, is to eventually be able to do a pull-up. But it's likely going to take me years to get there, so it's not like it's super, super necessary to have that anytime soon. But the reason I brought this up with the search engine stuff is that while those weights were sitting in my cart, I was getting all sorts of Rogue Fitness ads on everywhere else I went, which wasn't bad. Like, I actually went and I found a fairly inexpensive rack. Like, man, the racks for weights are as expensive as the entire weight set, because, again, they know you need one for your whole life. Like, this isn't stuff that's steel. This isn't stuff that's going to go bad or break. So when they know you only need one for the entire life of your, like, weights journey, they're going to charge you for it. All right, so we've got some little cool, like, pits here. We can put some rust around those too, but I'm also going to give them a little bit of energy. I did put some pure white up here at the top. I'm going to do this shoulder pad here. It's that bar. It's a pull-up. Essentially it's a weight rack with a pull-up bar at the top, Pendrake. So you've got some racks are wall-mounted. I don't want one of those. I don't want to put holes in the garage. So I got to get the ones with the feet on the bottom, and then the steel uprights, and then the bar on the top. But I think that... Well, okay, but I'm not, like, driving the rack out in weather. And it's not being put where other people can run into it, Richard. Yeah, you only need one. That's exactly it, Kurtiko. That's exactly it. So, and if I really look at it, by the time I'm done, because I'll get the kettlebell, and I'll probably get a slam ball, and I'll just keep acquiring the little pieces of stuff that we use in class until I essentially have my own CrossFit gym. And then if I ever have to quit CrossFit Palo Alto, or I just want to add extra, like, even if I just want to add on an extra workout, which would normally cost me another $70 a month, if I look at that, $70 a month, and I figure that in, I'll have paid for everything in 3 years. So, and if I quit CrossFit entirely, I'd pay for everything in like 6 months. But I like my CrossFit class and I like my coaches, so I'm unlikely to quit unless I get into a real money crunch. But hopefully we'll be okay. We won't get that. Well, sure, Pendrake, but I don't think my little self, like at this point, my little paltry 180-pound Anne, and hopefully soon to be a less than that Anne, I get the feeling it's going to be really hard for me to break a steel structure, especially when I've been taught the right way to put weights, down, and it's built for you to put large, heavy weights on it, essentially. And it's okayed for up to a certain amount of weight. So as long as I stay in those parameters, I think I'm just fine. Could I maybe break it if I really tried to break it? Sure, but why would I do that? Plus, I'm a little Ann who can't even deadlift over 100 pounds yet. So I'm not that person throwing around 250, 300 pounds of weights. There's definitely, like, qualifiers here. So can you? Yes. Is there, like, a tiny chance that someday I will break my weight rack? Yeah, sure. But it's very unlikely, and it's certainly unlikely for the next several years while I'm working my way up from essentially zero weight fitness. Although last night it was really funny. I was like, why is this harder? Because I'm working with, we paired up into partners last night and we were doing our presses, which is just like having the bar on your front rack and then just lifting it without moving the rest of your body. And that's really hard because you want to bend your knees and just go, and you can't bend your knees in a press, not in a strict press. So, and I was like, why is this so much harder than last time? Why am I lifting less weight? And Andrew's just like, well, some nights, some days you're just going to be more tired or you're just going to be whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, all right. As long as it's, something that you see. He's like, yep, totally. Then I realized that actually my partner and I grabbed the wrong bar. So I thought that I was only lifting 45 pounds and having, barely able to do reps with that over my head. And then we realized we had actually grabbed the next bar up. So actually we were doing 55 pounds, which was our max last time, and we did 6 sets of it. So I am improving. It was just very funny. I'm like, she's like, because my partner's like, wait. And I was like, wait, but she's like, no, I thought you knew. And I'm like, well, I thought I knew too. But yeah, I totally grabbed the 35 pound bar. I thought I was grabbing the 25. It was funny. Luckily, she has a sense of humor, and so do I. So, but yeah, so I'm up to 55 pound presses. That's my lowest because presses are I think the hardest. My coach Allie wanted me to put my record because 55 was a new record for me. It was 15 more than I did before, and I told her I'd put up we have a board. We have a whiteboard and a bell. And if you get a new high, you get to ring the bell and put your new high up on the board. I told her I'd put my high up on the board when I could press Kiki. When it's 75 pounds, then I will ring the bell. Because that is almost double what I started as. Yeah, pretty much, Cornico. Yep, 55 pounds over my head. 6 sets of 2. Jabberwock. I keep I'm like, that is like almost as much as lifting that. It might actually be like lifting one of those huge buckets of Reaper Pure White, the Pure White that we use, the white base, which is the heaviest base. It's almost lifting one of those over my head. And I used to struggle to just lift those off the shelf. So just a little bit of Pure White here at the peak, and I'm going to probably outline with the Pure White as well. But I'm using a lot of the Phantom Glow around the white to kind of tint it with that color. And we'll see how this ends up working. I don't want to necessarily edge with Pure White down here. I am using the Pure White up here. I'm using the Pure White pretty much on the top of metal items, metal objects. No, I wouldn't be able to do that. There is a guy, Pendrake, in my class who is regularly doing 200, 210, 225 pounds. He looks like Sigmarine Hammer. He looks like he could throw around one of those. He's cool. He always wears outlandish socks. I love it. I absolutely love it. I always compliment him on his socks. Last night they were American flag socks. Some people wear really loud shoes and some people wear really loud socks. I like the socks people. I need some loud socks. I would wear loud socks except that then nobody would see them because I'm always wearing pants instead of shorts. I don't think my legs are in shape for shorts yet. So we're putting some Pure White right at the apex of this shoulder pad here. I also got the answer to my question last night. I was trying to describe CrossFit to David's parents. And his mother's first question was, don't you have spotters? Why would you not have a spotter? And so I thought I knew that answer, but I asked Andrew last night anyway. And I was right about the answer, which is that in CrossFit, you should never be lifting weights that are too much for you. The point is to actually build up to where you can do something you can do that might be difficult, but that you can do reps with. So it's unlikely, since you have the weight under control, that you need a spotter. And 2, they would rather teach you how to bail from under the bar safely than depend on someone else, and that has a chance of hurting them as well when you're working with big weights. So I think that seemed to... Glucosamine, yeah. Interesting. One glucosamine or L-glutamine. Not glucosamine. Glutamine. Sorry. Glasses. So I've got my... I'll write that down. Let me look. L-glutamine. I'll look into it. Do you do it... I already do protein powders after my workout. And I added, instead of doing my old smoothie, I started doing it with electrolyte powders. I use half a packet of electrolyte powder, pina colada flavor. It's nummy. And then I add some protein powder to that, and I blend it up with soy milk and ice, and it's so tasty. It's just as tasty as my smoothies. I don't really get a lot of soreness. Like, my butt is definitely sore today because we did 25 times 4, 100 squats last night in sets of 25, plus jump rope, and what was the third thing? It was jump ropes, and it was ball slams. I need to start working with a 20-pound ball instead of a 15. But I'll look into that L-glutamine. Thanks for the recommend, Jabberwock. Because as I increase in weights, I might need a little bit better. But right now, I feel like the soreness is definitely manageable. Like, when I first started CrossFit, oh my god. Like, I felt like I was totally dysfunctional. After the first few classes, the soreness was epic. But now I feel like not nearly as much problem. All right, so we're getting some of that glow. I'm going to bring the glow up more around where it's next to the glowing material. Yeah, with those heavy balls, that says to me she was not using, that she needed to be using a lighter ball. Pendrake, if you lose control a bit on that, on the backswing, either that or the finger holes were not the size she needed. Too big of holes, too heavy of a ball. I used to bowl, and I really was always searching for the ball with the perfect finger hole size, more than the weight. I just learned to deal with the whatever weight that was. And that's why so many people have, like, their own, like, they pay to get their own bowling balls if they're really into it, because they can get exactly the finger holes they need and exactly the weight they want. I always was just kind of like doing the league thing, so I never had my own ball. But yeah, slinging weights around in an unsafe manner, definitely not a good idea. Interesting. How often were you working out at that point, Jabberwock? I'm doing every other day, as I'm doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I hope to add a Saturday workout once I have my gear at home. So I'll start doing... I think that's like a good test, like, because, you know, the thing about CrossFit, the thing about paying somebody else to do this to me, is that I actually do it, right? That's the thing. You buy the gym equipment, you get it home, and then you never use it, right? That's the meme. Because you need somebody to force you to use it, because it's just not pleasant. Or you could just be, you know, like eating bonbons and binge watching something. Binge watching The Great British Baking Show. So I'm going to do some tendrils up here, I think. And I got to make sure the bottom of this is all good. I think I'm going to do a glaze down here. Working out 3 to 4 days. Okay, yeah, so you would have less time between workouts, probably. At least Although I'd really do, I was going 3 days a week when I was making up time from my trips, and I really did like going 3 days a week, and that's kind of what powered this whole decision to buy the weights. And now, when I want to do a CrossFit workout, once I have the gear, then I just have to look it up online and just like go do it. I got a mat, a puzzle piece construction mat to put down on my garage floor too. But yeah, I'm excited. I always liked working out. Like when I had my treadmill in my garage back in Texas, I actually enjoyed using it. At that point, it was only cardio and I wasn't doing any weights. But now, I just really enjoy lifting. And it makes everything so easy. Like it makes handling Kiki so much easier. There we go. So we're fading out that shoulder pad a lot, making it look like it's really going into this or coming out of it. You binge watch. We should just put on the binge show in front of our weight rack, right? That's the thing. Relearning to enjoy running. Good for you, butts. And I'm just learning to enjoy running, period. Not relearning. I'm just trying to get to the point where I'm really running and not just, like kind of jog shuffling. And I definitely am limited in how long I can do a real run without my legs starting to like ache like crazy. All right, let's add a little bit more back here. Then let's do a glaze around the edges here and see what I can do. So I'm probably going to use my fog paint for this glaze. Yeah. Bowling bag, nice. You're afraid to use it? Well, now it's probably has issues because you haven't used it. Twisted Oma. Running itself used to be the motivation. Yeah, now it's hard to get back into it when you've been out of it, right? Alright, so I'm going to paint a real thin layer of my fog kind of paint, which is more layering than glazing, so you can count it as a heavy glaze. They're pretty much the same thing. Like a layering paint, a layering consistency paint is a heavy glaze for all intents and purposes. Oh, are you here to say hi for people? Are you going to come up and say hi to the people? Kiki? Are we going to say hi? Can you come up? Can you come up? Can you come up and say hi to stream? You don't wanna? Oh, she's just scared to jump up recently. I don't necessarily like running unless I like the start of running, which is before my legs feel like they're going to break and before I'm like hauling in breaths like I'm a big blowhole, Papa, big whale. Yes. Here, can you up? Come on, you can do it. Oh, come on. No, she's just not comfortable. There's too many things that can fall over here. It's too tight quarters. I'm going to have to change my office to get Kiki to come on stream again. Good girl. All right, Bubba, I've still got about 20 minutes, okay? You're a good girl. Yay, good girl. It's my good Kiki. David was complaining this morning. He was like, she wants to play with me and get pets from you. And he's like, I got the worst part of this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you could also just have the holes drilled out a little bit if you really wanted to. I think you could do that with bowling balls. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't. If you needed to adjust the size, but hey, Keeks. Hey, little Keeks. Hi, Keeka Squeak. Hi. Yeah, you got Pettins. Pettins, you need a bath. You need a bath so bad. Yes, you're stinky. Tell the stream that you're stinky. That's right. Stinky canine. All right, let's put that glaze, fog layering glaze over the side. No, you got to go settle, Bubba. Work. It's not time yet. Mostly I'm running to like get my heart rate up into the point where I need it to still function well as an older adult. There's definite benefits to getting your heart rate up. But you get to climb up hills, Korniko, and that's definitely another way. Oh, that's right. It's Luca Day. Never mind, Kiki. You only have to wait 10 minutes. But yeah, as you get older, it's definitely beneficial to get your heart rate up. And sadly, around here, it's mostly flat. Unless I go into the Santa Cruz Mountains. Which is a drive. A little bit of a drive. So around this neighborhood, though, really flat. So let's glaze a little bit more over here. Want to keep that line, but make it a little more subtle. There we go. I like that a little better. Yeah, once you hit a certain distance, the endorphins. I've heard of these mythical running endorphins. I don't know about. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of miss. I had it near where I lived in Texas right before I moved. I had a nice hill that I could chug up, and that helped. But now, if I'm going to get my heart rate up into like the 130 range or higher, I have to run. So we've got a really deep shadow under here. I think I want to use our thin down paint to take that up a little bit, since he's ghosty. Yeah, no, climbing is definitely, if you've got elevation, use it. Don't run. I just wish I had elevation. I need to get a Stairmaster that I could, or a treadmill that had incline that I could do. And there's no reason, considering where I live, there's, sadly, I was thinking about this too. I was thinking about the gym, or the garage, and how I could get a treadmill. And I'm like, I live in the freaking Bay Area. The weather is more perfect than in 99% of the locations on Earth. There is no reason I need a treadmill. Kansas is flatter than Pancake. Oh, Inara. That's sad. Yeah, then it's running. Yes, endurance work helps with mitochondrial health, which is important. Yep. Yeah, all those things help with when you're aging. Luca doesn't have to worry about that. He's still a young guy. We'll needle him about it in like 20 years. I just bought a weight set, Luca. I decided that I was indeed becoming a jock, and that I should just give up and buy the weight set and the barbell. The barbell set. To make my husband complain that he married a jock even more. Yeah, that's true, but so that's why when I'm like feeling angry or feeling stressed out, I go out and do a workout. I take a walk at the minimum, and I usually end up running because it helps. And I feel better. It also just makes your mood better naturally to exercise. In whatever way you can. All right, there we go. It's looking a little better. So we didn't get to the rust, but this armor's looking better. I've totally missed that, though, and I missed the backside of this. So let's do something with that. You get tired by standing up from your chair. Yeah, well, you can get away with that when you're young, miniatures den. When you get old, then it's like, uh-oh. Danger signs. But I want to live till I'm 100. So, that's why I'm fitness focused these days. Otherwise, it's too easy. Once you're past 50, it's too easy to lose ground too fast. Just a little bit of highlight in there. Past decade undoing all the sitting of your 20s. Yep, yep, yep. I've been a walker for a long time. I have that going for me. Because of my parents, I just, like, in college, I got into walking, and although I definitely had dry spells where I didn't do it for a couple months at a time, especially during the winter, in general, if the weather was decent, I was walking. So that essentially led to me establishing a better fitness habit as I got older. It gave me something to work from. And like I said, in high school and college, I actually enjoyed weight training, so I would use the weight machines. Now with the barbells, I'm like, oh, why have I never tried this before? I really like it. I want to be able to bench you, Kiki, or press you. Yeah, except you're too wiggly, so I'll have to, like, use a barbell that's your weight. Oh, yeah. Working with computers, you end up sitting a lot. Yep, yep. Well, same with me. I mean, I'm a writer and a mini painter, right? So that's why I'm out walking every night. Now running every night. Every night I don't do CrossFit. I'm out there. It's supposed to be rainy the next couple nights, so I'll have to make myself go out of my raincoat. Just popping, getting this armor mostly done, then we'll be able to do the rust next time. We'll work on the blade a little bit next time. I don't want to delay. Oh, that's really cool, Twisted Oma, with the Down syndrome. Yep. But yeah, that's another thing, is once I have the CrossFit equipment, I don't need it if it's really lousy out, which it does get, rainy, windy, kind of crappy out here in the winter. Then I can do that exercise in the garage instead of going out in it, which would be a pro. Definitely a pro. I could more riveting basing to do today, huh? All right. Well, maybe I'll do the sword too then. Today I need to do editing on my YouTube video, and I need to work on my $5. For this $5 PDF is going to take actually a lot of painting. At least I'll have to base coat the model. And I usually don't I try to avoid that because it adds a lot of time onto doing content to have to paint a brand new model for it to show something. But this one is adapting a color scheme. Hey, enough. Kiki. Done. 1 second. Out. Evicted. Exiled. Done. If she doesn't stop right away, then it's exiled. Exiled dog. Oh no. Say live longer, you're pissed off beyond imagination. That's why you need to go out and take a walk, Miniatures Den. Or throw some weights around. It helps. Oh, I get it though. I'm sorry that you're peeved. I hope that it resolves itself. Everybody I know, okay, a lot of people I know are not having a great November, Lucas, so I'm very sorry that you're one of them. But hopefully whatever is angering you can be resolved. It's not that bad. Okay. Good. You at least have to live long enough that I can get over to Monte San Savino and actually meet you in person. Maybe that'll be this coming year. I don't know. I need to have something that I want to actually enter. And I'm going to be doing so much work on my other stuff. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of time for a competition painting. Oh, I see. I see. Had to work on a box art, but got unlucky with the cast. Oh, man. I'm sorry, Miniatures Den. Yeah, that's frustrating. Yeah. Because it's bad enough that you're working on stuff that, like, maybe you have to paint differently than you would normally paint it. Box art. And then it's when it's just fighting you, so you can't just get it done and get paid. That's, like, even worse. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I think I want more highlight up here. Then we'll go get the blade done real quick. Yeah. Yeah, I hate days like that. Where the model itself is fighting you. Yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna be productive today, and the universe is like, nope. And you're like, why? Why, universe? That's when we have the Luca shaking the fist at the universe meme. All right. So now it's sword day. We really have to do the brass on this, the guard. Really, really need to. And this is so held flat, so it's really difficult. But we'll just use the white edging to our advantage. Boop. 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 And I think I'm going to make it kind of go ghosty as it goes out here, which I think is the point, actually. Lunch is overdue. Yeah, Kiki was informing me that her walk was overdue, but she was actually a liar, so I ignored her. So we can do some cool tendrils here. Kind of like cracks, but like energy. And I'll make them a little bit more solid. Terabad Forge World Shiny Resin. Yeah. We're struggling with the 3D print that I was really looking forward to. But one of the, we scaled it down just to 75% because it's big otherwise. But the one piece of a big multi-part model is just like not wanting to print, like keeps failing. So we kind of shelved it for the week, but that was really frustrating over the weekend. It just kind of kills your, whatever enthusiasm you had for the project, is it really like puts a big damper on it, right? When any of that stuff happens, the priming issues or the paint sticking issues or the any of that. So let's bring this edge up to solid phantom energy. Solid phantom energy. That sounds a little bit like a misnomer. Yeah, David is just, I suggested after the first fail that he use the unsupported version and add supports, have Lychee add supports, which I think is going to fix it, but he decided instead to just try to add extra supports on top of what already was there, and it just didn't work. So after the third try, we gave up for now, but we'll be trying again, I think, maybe on the weekend. When we have oomph. Or whenever we next decide. It's not a super urgent model. It's just like he was going to print, so I'm like, oh, print me this. I was thinking you were too serious there, Luca. Well, thank you for being Luca before the end of my stream. I'm just going to put in a little bit of white in here. And to show the energy, like kind of creeping up this way. And then we'll end and we'll make Luca show you some basing. Just 'cause. Alright, so there we go. We got some crackly energy. We'll actually work with that, making it look like it's glowing. Next stream, we'll keep working with this. We'll add some rust up here on the parts that are most corporeal. Probably add a little tiny bit of texture on the cloth of the hood to show that it is a different surface. We'll finish up that blade, and we will probably at least base coat, if not finish the hilt. So we're getting really close, and I need to highlight a lot of this phantom-y material. By the way, guys, I did actually do what I promised you, and after the stream yesterday, I hopefully corrected the gamma on my computer. So I want to show you the Ed model and see if you see it differently, okay? So for those who did look at Ed yesterday, let me get Ed's thing over here. So does that look less like in-your-face, glowy, red-pink than yesterday to you guys? And the skin tone should look a lot more natural. Good. Excellent. Yeah, I had to go and search out how to do it, but I did manage to do it, and I corrected it. I was making little incremental changes and then hitting apply until it looked correct. But this looks like it looks in person now, which was my big complaint. So yeah, you should notice an improvement in just the way the figures look. In general, nothing should be too screamy bright, especially not my reds. So yes, new computer needed balancing. Now I'm glad. Thank you guys for looking at that and telling me that I was correct and we did it right. So now we will have a much more... You will actually be able to see things as I see them. Mostly it was reds. Yes, right, exactly. That's what it should look like. Cool. Thanks, Carrie Michael. Excellent. Yes, and Kerniko and Twistoma. Thank you all. All right, cool. Tomorrow, for Thursday, is Mermaid. A model that Luca should paint. Luca should paint this model. Except that, it's not a dwarf. Oh, man. But yeah, so we're back on Mermaid. I'll probably... we did a lot of the hair. You painted her a long time ago. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're back on the hair, and I have to do more of the highlighting on the front. We did do the nice highlighting on the back. It's a dwarf mermaid, that's it. So we're going to do that, and we'll probably take our skin tones up, like I really would like to, a bit more. Since everything else is so shiny, if her skin tones aren't coming up the same way, it tends to... You don't look at them right away necessarily. The hair is super awesome from the front, though. I'm really happy with it. So we'll work on Mermaid. Maybe we'll even throw in some more colors and get more base coated so that we can see more of the model. So come back tomorrow for that experience. Otherwise, thank you for hanging out with me and Ghosty Mouse today. And talking about fitness and Zazzle stores and Ed and why Reaper is awesome and all the rest of it. Yes, purple. It is purple and kind of purple and teal. Is that right? Kind of. It's purple and non-iridescent, but I haven't added in the reflective that makes it look iridescent yet. So there you go. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Quindy, as always, thank you for herding the cats, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? Have a fun stream, Luca. Bye-bye.